Welcome to Powered by Authenticity. I'm happy to have you back. If you've listened to us before or if you're a new listener, welcome. This is continuing of a special series. It's actually day 3 of my little getaway, and I'm not sure how that happened. Time certainly seems to move at a faster clip up here. I'm not sure why, probably just because it's so beautiful. Once again, I'm sitting in the beautiful penthouse deck here on the beach at Sunbeam Bungalows, and gosh, it's just such a pristine day. It's been a glorious, warm one at that, but the sun's just starting to set, and people are out on the deck and enjoying time together, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful place to be. So day 3, what was I up to today? That's a very good question, if you're curious, and I hope you are. First and foremost, I got up and out for a run. It was great. It's lakeside. It's beautiful. It feels amazing to be up here and out, and beautiful scenery. And 5K doesn't seem quite so daunting when you are running lakeside. And then as part of the business development, I actually grabbed a book before I left the house. That I have been trying to read for 6 years. This book is 207 pages. I had made it all the way to page 20. It's actually a good book. I'm almost done with it, about halfway through it. I'm actually really enjoying it. I'll share the title and the notes, but really some things that were very meaningful. Making sure that you're changing your mindset instead of, if these things will come, and instead of saying, these things will come and I am. Just different perspectives and ways to look at all aspects. It talks in there about how that can help your health, how it can help your marriage, how it can help your business. So really interesting correlations and tying it all together, which I've often said that there definitely is correlation, specifically when I think about training for races and endurance and the dedication that it takes from that, and how that bleeds over into your professional life. And I think, touch upon that on day 1's recording, just how there's parallels there. Second thing I did is I really started to dig into some analytics on the podcast specifically. There's some episodes that have done amazing. They're top of the charts. They're heavily downloaded, and there's some that didn't do so well. So trying to take a look at an idea that I have and how it aligns to those episodes that did really well. And I really think that I'm onto something. I'm going to keep it close to the hip for right now until I figure out whether or not that's the actual direction that I want to take the show in. I also sent some intro emails to some of those guests that I had talked about, some of those big names from big companies. I took the leap. It's not like me necessarily to take that leap of faith, but I did. I sent some in-mails for LinkedIn, and really I'm just trying to put myself out there and ask for some of these guests who I think have amazing stories to come onto the show. And then as I started to look at PBA consulting, one thing that popped into my head, and it's story time. It's story time here at the podcast tonight. I remember doing business development and this type of work for other companies. And in one company, we were really looking at moving into a Microsoft partnership and expanding our presence through that. It lent well into healthcare IT, AI, Power BI, like the whole suite. And at the time, we were also doing a lot of Teams migrations. So, the leader at the time, and have you ever had a bad boss? Have you ever just had somebody that was so terrible that you're like, it has to be just me? It can't be the world, because nobody was talking about how exasperatingly awful this human being was. When you looked at the owners, they were like, oh no, he's the best thing, and he'll lead us down the right direction. And so when I was given the direction to expand Microsoft, to go get Microsoft partnerships, I did that very quickly. I was able to incentivize a team. They all became certified, which in the world of Microsoft is what you need. You need people. So when we're talking about strategy and how to expand, they kept just wanting to get rid of people and this horrible boss, instead of realizing what I was saying about needing the people to actually go sell the work because they equate to the partnership. He just didn't want to listen. I knew what the clients wanted. I was out in the field. I was hearing them. I was listening to them. And what they wanted were the ability to tap into some of the partnership dollars and be able to get their work done underneath that umbrella of funding, which is available. So, I thought about the last time I did this activity under that type of leadership, and I just became so frustrated to remember that time and to remember having been in that situation where leadership wasn't listening, and the person who they had put in charge of the client services group just had such a lack of knowledge and experience, but nobody wanted to listen because he came in with a, very well spoken. My husband to this day, hubsters, still calls him a used car salesman because you'd get on the phone and that's exactly what he sounded like. So I've been spending a lot of time reflecting about things that I've done for other organizations and what I don't want to do for my own. And, first and foremost, I don't ever want to be a leader who, when my team members hang up the phone, they feel like they're going to cry. Because I'll tell you, and I'm not afraid to admit it, there was more than one time after getting off the phone with this individual where it was a Sharon, I had to go for a walk and just let myself go because it was just so bad. And I remember other times where luckily I had this person on speakerphone and my husband could hear the way that he was speaking to me. I'd hang up and he'd be like, you've got to go get another job. And, I think out of this exercise, I'm remembering a lot of those moments because those were the moments in which you learn the most. So trying to apply that, what did I learn out of that? Well, I learned out of that I do know what I'm doing when it comes to the technology sector. I do know what my clients want. I can hear what my clients need. I can listen to them. I can build relationships. And that's the type of work that I want to do, where it helps to support their needs and help make them better on a day-to-day basis. It doesn't matter if you're healthcare. It doesn't matter if you're finance. It's the same type of wanting to do really great work for those that you want to support. So just a little story. Just had a little flashback of a very, very terrible boss. If you've ever seen the movie Horrible Bosses, this person would fit right in. But in taking a moment to reflect upon that, I also remember what I do not want out of this exercise. This exercise is allowing me to literally dig deep and listen to myself and know that, the ideas and the thoughts that I have are really good and strong, and how to best take those and use them to go support my customers, my clients, my podcast guests, and myself personally. So all big goals. The other kind of fun little story is that I happened to be going into town today in calendar and looked at the library and had a flashback to when I was just graduating from college. My final paper was submitted while we were actually up here for our 2-week holiday, and the only place that had a dial-up modem that I could use was the calendar library. So just flashed because that's, I started this journey right out of high school and, got a glimpse into it, fell in love with applications and different things. But, that was also a place where I was able to achieve a goal that I had. And, I guess one of my biggest parts of that and thinking about that was the fact that my mom wasn't here to see that. She died in the second, so I was going into the second semester of school. But everybody was here to celebrate. So I think I may have had a few bottles of champagne and just kept the celebration going. It was, why not? But really just some thoughts like that and some things. The other thing I did do today, moving out of story time, actually keeping the story time, is the blog. I hadn't blog posted in a while, but gosh, it felt really good. And I think that's something that I need to add to my list because I do enjoy it. And I really do think that I can continue to share some stories. Anyways, day 3 is wrapping up. I'm going to go watch the sunset and maybe have a little dinner. But, today was pretty fun. It was pretty interesting to not only read that book, but put it into kind of theory as I thought about that leader who was an absolutely horrific boss, how I don't want to go back there, how in that moment and during this exercise for another company, they just didn't want to listen to the right things, despite having the right people at the helm to try to do so. Or maybe not at the helm, but underneath the helm. And I often wonder how much of that was because I was that email. But I guess that's for him to go to the grave with and not me. For me, I know that I did a great job. All right, I am going to go enjoy the sunset. Thank you for being part of this journey the past few days, and we will talk to you tomorrow.